Здравейте, приятели!
Hello, friends! Today we will show you air adaptive shock absorbers from the Audi A8 D5.
A8 D5.
This is the latest generation of the A8, to avoid being extremely boring.
Изключително скучни, ще ви покажем само някои от.
We will show you only some of the shocks, in this case, the rear ones.
Принципно почти идентични.
The front ones are almost identical. This is the air spring together with the shock absorber. They are manufactured by ZF with the latest generation CDCI damping control system. This is the cable through which the shock absorber stiffness is controlled.
Имаме нещо
There's an important thing we want to explain to you.
обясним. Винаги когато се разглобява възглавницата да се
Whenever the air spring is disassembled, it must be removed from the shock and this component must be taken out. Very often shocks come to us with cut cables. Do not cut them.
добре е да разглобите буксичката.
It is much better to disassemble the connector. A cable
Излиза през тампона, през всичко.
passes through the rubber mount. The rear shocks have
Допълнителни разширителни казанчета.
additional expansion chambers so the spring rate can be properly adjusted.
Коефициента на пружината да бъде
The air spring itself is relatively small and narrow in volume
сравнително тънка.
and doesn't have enough capacity. That's why this expansion reservoir is added.
Се слагат и този.
By the way, since the A8 D3 and almost all rear VAG air shocks have been made this way.
От два групата задни амортисьори са такива. Оплакването
In this case, the complaint is that the car is wobbling,
малко така неадекватно поведение на амортисьора.
meaning the shock absorber is behaving inadequately.
Ще тестваме амортисьора на стенда, ще ви покажем какъв му е.
It's important to clarify, the air spring is not leaking. We will test the shock and show you exactly what the problem is.
Ще видим, може възглавницата да направим. Възглавницата не е нищо.
We will also show how we repair it. At the same time, we will rebuild the air spring as well. The air spring is nothing scary, nothing complicated. We've shown you before
Две думи за възглавницата.
how we repair them with original parts.
Ремонтират се. При нас винаги може да се ремонтира с читава гума, в смисъл каквато си трябва, с неръждаеми пръстени. Вътре във възглавницата.
Inside the air spring there are several rubber mounts. That always must be replaced, otherwise the shock will make noise.
Разглобяваме нещата и ще ви покажем ремонта в действие. Пускаме динамометър.
We are starting a dyno test before beginning the repair.
Стандартна процедура.
This is a standard procedure for every shock absorber we repair.
За да видим
This way we can see the working characteristics
работната графика и да преценим какъв му е проблема.
and determine exactly what the issue is.
Точно тук нещата въобще не са добре. Или в случая
Here, things do not look good at all.
при определено
In this case, the graph is extremely poor at a specific load.
в режим комфорт, т.е.
Even though the shock is in comfort mode, meaning soft, the graph is bad.
в твърдено положение, за да
We will run one more graph, this time in firm mode.
какво се случва тогава. И ще ги наставим една върху друга.
We will overlay the graphs.
Както виждате, осезаемо по-твърд амортисьор стана.
As you can see, the shock absorber became noticeably stiffer.
Така. И разбира се, и един ръчен тест, да ви покажа нещо.
And now a manual test to show you something more.
Пускаме го на меко. И в момента графиката изглежда горе-долу добра.
We put it in soft mode and at the moment the graph looks relatively good. Now it begins to distort on the right. The graph starts to deteriorate here.
Стига сме до тук.
Enough playing. We will open it to see
Отворим да видим проблема дали е в самото
whether the issue is in the piston itself, lack of oil, or something else.
управление на ZF.
Generally, the new generation of ZF CDCI shocks has similar issues and similar graphs.
И така, сега ще го нагласим.
Here is the open shock absorber.
Отворен амортисьора. Както
As we said, this is a twin-tube ZF shock.
на
This is the main body. This is the inner tube where the working piston operates.
тръба и в нея работи работното бутало.
The core of the shock absorber.
Сърцевината на амортисьора. Влизайки в
The piston moves inside this tube, and oil flows through it.
през него минава масло. Ето, през тези дупки, от тук влиза масло.
Through these ports, oil enters here and exits there.
Променяйки съпротивлението
By changing the electrical current through this cable, the solenoid valve inside is controlled,
по този начин се променя
and this changes the oil flow rate,
маслото, при което амортисьора става по-твърд или
making the shock firmer or softer. Inside there is a complex mechanism
дава проблеми и при
that often causes problems, and during the repair we always fix it completely.
масния семеринг
The oil seal is always replaced with a new original one,
с нов оригинален такъв, за да
so there are no oil leaks.
долния клапан, това нещо е от долната страна на
The bottom valve is located in the lower part of the inner tube.
тръба да ни да не остава.
And of course, the guy. Inside it there is a bushing,
Вътре във водача има втулка от втулката.
which often wears out. All these components will be checked.
Всичките тези неща ще бъдат проверени. Всичко нужно
Everything necessary will be replaced, and after that we will close the shock,
го затваряме, пълним с масло.
fill it with oil, gas charge it, and place it back on the dyno.
Паралелно с това нещо ще оправим
In parallel, we will also rebuild the air spring. Our air springs
винаги с наша
are always made with our own rubber, with our logo manufactured specially for us,
следим
so we can track the quality of every component and be sure
и да знаем, че вие получавате най-доброто, което заслужавате.
that you receive the best you deserve.
Извиняйте. Самия
We won't show the full rebuilding process of the air spring,
то сме го показали в други клипове.
as we have shown it in previous videos. Otherwise, this video would become too long and boring. We proceed with the final dyno test.
Тестваме амортисьора след ремонта, за да покажем и да проверим.
We test the shock after the repair to verify that it works correctly and flawlessly.
Графиката
The graph is completely symmetrical. We've said this many times, but we will repeat it.
Казвали, ще го повторя и тук, че
After our repair, every shock absorber works absolutely identically to a brand new OEM unit.
чисто нов
All adaptive functions, stiffening, softening,
функции на твърдяване, омекотяване
everything functions exactly as it does from the factory.
и преди. Графиката е безупречна, както трябва да
The
бъде.
graph is perfect, exactly as it should be. We will also perform a manual test to show
Функцията на спорт и
how the
комфорт,
sport and comfort modes work, and that there are no deviations in the graph anymore.
вече работната диаграма. Така, можем да го омекнем.
We can make the shock much softer or significantly firmer
Много, променяйки
by changing the control of the solenoid valve, and everything works perfectly,
без да има никакви.
without any issues whatsoever.
Ами,
Well, that's all from us. Goodbye, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.